toast today. Oh my god. Today I wanted to film with like little pockets of time I have while I work from home, how I've built the income that I have through predominantly TikTok, like through content creation, right? So I would see so many people, right, like so many people on YouTube and stuff like that talk about like their influencer income or how much YouTube money they've made or passive income, all of these like buzzwords around like making money online and stuff. And I think a lot of it honestly just would go over my head a bit, and I would think like that just doesn't seem real. I'm basically in my 4th month in making any type of money since starting my TikTok 6 months ago. So 2 months without making anything, and then 4 months now with making income. And I want to kind of go over what my income has been in those 4 months so far, and like how I feel like it's going and how I've done it, because I feel like I figured it out and I want to share, because now I'm starting to realize, okay, this is real. This isn't just like people, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do think people sensationalize it. So far it is real for me, and this last month has kind of freaked me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I just dropped Ivy off at nursery this morning, so I have like quite a bit more time than I normally would have. I've had like 40 minutes this morning, so I just have to film a couple more clips. It's like reshoots for a UGC job that I'm doing. They want a couple lines said differently, so I'm gonna go do that at my desk, and then I will be starting work. So I have a work call, a little bit of work before that call and stuff, and I'll probably come back on my lunch break and have a little chat with you guys and break down this income. Lunch break now, I have a coffee and a Lucozade, so that's how delightful I'm feeling. Right down into the nitty gritty of this income from doing content creation. And just to start, I want to give you the numbers for context on exactly where I'm at right now. So I have 21,200 followers on TikTok. I have around 3,500 on Instagram, and then I think I have like 400 subscribers on YouTube. So even though there is like kind of a significant following on TikTok, I am massively like a baby content creator when it comes to numbers. So let's just like keep that in mind when we look at this income. But I think you're actually going to be surprised at the size of income relative to the size of following. Let me go over like the past 3 months worth of income and then like where I am right now. In my first month of making any money on TikTok content creation at all, I made £730. I believe like £99 of that was from TikTok, like the creator rewards program. I think around like 100 from selling digital products, not hugely expensive ones by any means. I just wanted to like learn how it worked. So I think I had a fee for like £1.50 or something. I started to get UGC work in, so the bulk of that was from doing a couple of UGC jobs. From there I was like, okay, UGC is real. This is actually possible. It took me hardly any time. I was able to do it really comfortably on the side, and better yet, again, I really enjoyed doing it. So this is when it starts to get interesting. In the second month of earning any income, bearing in mind I had only just made £730 and 77 pence the month prior, I set myself what I thought was like ridiculously ambitious, and I set myself the target of earning £1,900, and I actually ended up making £3,183 and 17 pence in that month. I tracked everything in my like side hustle income tracker, and that's where I set my targets and all of that, so you can check it out in my content creators toolkit if you're interested, but that's like what I keep looking at. But that literally blew my mind, and I was like, this has been incredible. Here's a screenshot of like where each of that bit of money came from. So in that month I had one sponsored post deal, which was so exciting. That was my first ever sponsored post. I also had a hefty amount of UGC work and did a tiny bit of digital products, and interestingly I also booked a company talk that month as well, so I got that opportunity in, which again I did not know would be an avenue at all when it came to creating content. So that is basically how that income looked. And then the following month on from that, I set myself the target of earning 3,300. I actually managed to earn £3,642 and 26 pence that month. So I was starting to get to this point of realizing like, okay, this actually seems pretty steady. I know I'm only a couple of months in, but the way in which like opportunities were coming in and stuff, and you know, if you understand that like more opportunity was coming in than what was actually ended up being agreed. So at this point I was getting like really regular opportunities coming in. Some of them would go through, some of them wouldn't, but the total amount was becoming like £3,600. Here's a breakdown of that month and what everything looked like. So that month was predominantly UGC work, and again that just kind of goes to show how valuable UGC work can actually be. Unsponsored posts again, but UGC was actually like accumulated more than that sponsored post, which is insane. Started to get a little bit more in affiliate links, so I was starting to get like £30, £40 there, which is really exciting. And then also I switched up my digital products a little bit, so I can speak more about like each income stream if you would like me to, but basically I started to wrap up my spreadsheets as one product and sell it for like a bit of a higher price rather than doing like one Excel and sell them all for really cheap. So that made it a lot simpler for me to actually earn more there by having a lower amount of customer acquisition for a higher value of customer. So that's kind of like how I switched that up and started to figure out digital products a bit, started to see a bit more there. And then it's normal, like a little bit from like the Creator Rewards program on TikTok. And then this is where it starts to get really, really good and really interesting. So this was just last month. It's now the 2nd of May, and this was like just for April. I had set myself an unbelievably ambitious target of earning £4,800. And I think because I was so scared that I wouldn't make that target, this was the month where I really started to pitch myself to different brands. I really started to like put myself out there, create content that I knew would work so well for brands. So just for this past month, in the month of April, I earned £6,065.92. And once you get to that point and you're like, okay, I know this now, I have existing relationships with brands now, I have existing relationships with agencies, people are starting to know me and know my content, it just feels like, oh my god, it's like becoming real, it's so exciting. And so here is a breakdown of that income, and as you can see, sponsored posts has been like the biggest one that month, and that's because basically as my like following grows, I'm able to charge more for a sponsored post. What I'm hoping to see is that I actually have to do less like content creation for brands, and I can actually charge like a higher rate, so the income will increase without the workload massively increasing. Whereas if you understand with UGC, it's lots of little jobs, right? So it's like the budget's always quite low, and you have to kind of like book quite a lot in order to do it. And so by no means is any of this work hard. I actually really enjoy it, I find it amazing. But when I'm just thinking about like the ability to scale whilst still having a busy life, whilst having like a full-time job and a toddler, that is where like my biggest chance to being able to like really lift that income up without having to somehow create more hours in the day. UGC is so massively a part of that, and like I've booked a lot of work through that still nevertheless. But interestingly here, as you can see from last month, my kind of aim to switch up my tactics with selling digital products is starting to pay off. What's really interesting with digital products is once that heavy lifting was done in the month previous to put out like higher value products, that's done now. So I'm starting to like kind of reap the rewards this month as well. And that is where you're kind of getting into the territory of passive income, which I know is like a huge buzzword on here and I see so much around it, but that is kind of like something that I am really interested in and trying to like see how much of like this income as I go forward, again, easily scalable because it's just passive. This month in May, my target is to earn £6,300. So yes, I'm beginning as I do every month and I'm feeling like nervous. It's literally like my income to the penny for the past 4 months doing content creation as a very small content creator who is just doing this on the side. Yeah, as I said, the Content Creators Toolkit is linked below. I will also link to my UGC Masterclass if you want to come along, and then my like one-to-one coaching if you're interested. And genuinely, if you have literally any questions, I say it all the time, but like I want to make this less smoke and mirrors and stuff, because like I say, I feel like I've now realized that it is real, that it does happen, and I've figured it out, and I feel like I genuinely have figured out how this works. So I want to help anyone else wanting to give it a go. Let me know if you would like me to come back and like film the income breakdown for May, let us know how it actually went and stuff, or if there's literally anything else you want to see from me, please do let me know, and I will see you in my next video.